Well, just a week ago today, it's been that APS Superintendent Winston Brooks resigned, and already the school board has settled on 4 candidates to interview and temporarily lead the state's largest school district.
That's right. Today, the board is interviewing Veronica Garcia, former education secretary under Bill Richardson, APS chief operating officer and city councilor Brad Winter, retired former assistant APS superintendent Diego Gallegos, and they're also talking to former Jemez Valley superintendent David Atiencio. The board could choose an interim superintendent today. Now, following an investigation into a personnel matter, the school board will not discuss Winston Brooks and why he is getting $350,000 of buyout and the circumstances surrounding his resignation.
Now, on top of that buyout, there's another huge payout for a controversial superintendent. This one is under a federal investigation right now. Scott Glassrud used to be in charge of a group of charter schools at Southwest Learning Center and Sam's Academy. He just resigned as investigators checked to see why he was making so much money off the publicly funded schools in the first place. Even though the investigations are not over, Glassrud will be leaving with a nice going away check that could get bigger. His school boards finalized some of the details of his resignation. Glassrud could be getting $80,000 on his way out the door. The new head administrator has been trying to reassure parents amid the ongoing federal and state investigations.
As far as we know, we'll be able to continue. The kids will be able to graduate this year or years future. At least we hope that that's what will happen.
The Public Education Commission is warning charter schools they are being watched. 3 of the 4 schools' charters are up for renewal this year. Liz?
A decision expected today from the State Nursing Board could determine whether APS students can go on some popular field trips. The district canceled field trips this month pending the crucial decision from the Nursing Board. You see, the board will discuss a new rule that would only allow nurses and health assistants to give students prescription and over-the-counter meds, meaning if a nurse isn't able to go on the field trip with the group, the students cannot go either. Now, that includes everything from trips to the museum to band and debate trips. The proposal, however, does not impact sports teams because athletic directors and trainers travel with them. The district says if it passes, they'll have to meet to figure out what to do next. The city of Santa Fe is creating a new team to help kids stay on track and finish school. Mayor Javier Gonzalez unveiled the new community cabinet. Members will include judges, college administrators, and other community leaders. The idea is to unite resources and funding to improve education inside and outside the classroom.
This cabinet isn't only going to be focused on making sure that we have that high quality early learning opportunity take place for our kids, but that we're also looking at other ways to support families who are dealing with a lot of social issues.
The collaboration will also focus on non-traditional education and help develop programs and resources to make sure kids graduate. The cabinet will also hold its first meeting this September.
The state has temporarily stripped Rio Arriba County Sheriff Tommy Rodella of his law enforcement powers. The New Mexico Department of Public Safety suspended Rodella's law enforcement certification, which means he cannot arrest anyone. He already could not carry a gun. So far, though, no one is saying Rodella cannot be the sheriff there, so he is still working. This all comes after federal agents arrested Rodella and his son last Friday, saying the two were terrorizing this driver, then tried to cover the whole thing up. Rodella claims the U.S. attorney has a personal vendetta against him. The Rodellas are giving the federal government a deadline of today to drop the charges, or they will look for a settlement from taxpayers if they win the case. The U.S. Attorney's Office is not commenting. Well, during the aftermath of that scathing Department of Justice report into the culture of violence within APD, the city agency in charge of investigating citizen complaints against officers got 39 letters praising them.
It's really uplifting, it's really gratifying, and it says, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out and keep on giving 110%.
We took a look at the letters. One person wanted to thank officers for responding to her 911 call and calming down her autistic son who had become aggressive. She wrote, and I quote here, "The officers were professional, caring, and concerned when providing assistance." Another one to say thank you to APD for being there for us and do not let people complaining get you down. Many people from out of state even wrote in. Someone in Virginia wrote that officers all across the country are behind APD and APD should not let the Department of Justice get them down. And of course, as the negative headlines about the police department have tapered off, so has the positive feedback. Liz?
Well, there are now new warning signs at the Central Overpass downtown warning you the road may flood. Check it out. This area has been a flash flooding problem spot for decades. It's one of the lowest spots downtown, so it's where the water accumulates. Earlier this month, 10 feet of water flooded the underpass. Cars stalled out. Some drivers even had to be rescued or swim to safety. In fact, city crews are still trying to clean up from the flooding mess in and around that downtown area. Crews are repairing this area around Lead and High, where rushing waters lifted a manhole cover and pulled up part of the roadway. Work on that is expected to be completed by next Wednesday. You know, imagine the western region of the United States just blanketed with 4 inches of water. That is actually how much we have lost, according to a new study, because of drought. The University of California's Scripps Institute of Oceanography finds 63 trillion gallons of water has been lost. Researchers determined it's with a network of GPS stations normally used to predict earthquakes. They used that. It measured how much the Earth's crust has risen in the last year because of the lack of moisture.
Well, now to the lost jet fuel that spilled at Kirtland Air Force Base. There are new developments this morning in the ongoing cleanup of all of that fuel. The State Environment Department has now signed off on an Air Force plan to drill a new well designed to extract contaminated water. That water would then be treated and used as reclaimed water on the base. State regulators are also now asking for weekly updates and saying they'll be making announced visits to the cleanup site. Removal of the soil from the area where the leak started is already going on. It started a few weeks ago. The spill was discovered back in 1999 and is anywhere from 6 to 24 million gallons.